March Madness is in full swing, and we have another Locked On bracket breakdown as Pitt's dance is done, falling to 3-seed Xavier today, 83-74, that final. I'm Jordan Black, and we are joined by the host of Locked On Pitt, Nick Fairbaugh. Nick, not the outcome you all wanted. You know, you said last time we talked to you that Pitt couldn't do this again, lack offense, and today lacking some defense against Xavier. Take us through your overall impressions of today's game.
Yeah, I thought it played out like a lot of late season Pitt games had this year. Lack of defense. They started to come back a little bit. They played hard, only put it down to 11, but this team fought. But they just couldn't shoot the three ball very well today. When they don't shoot the three, this team doesn't win much. And then the defensive breakdown. They were really, really the key here. 48 first half points for Xavier. They shot nearly 55% from the floor, 50% from three. Pitt had no answer, whether it was from three or inside, and that's really what caused them to lose this game. Their defensive breakdowns were not there, and it turned into bad offense where they had some droughts, some really bad opportunities, and so the Panthers just played undisciplined, turned the ball over too much. Bad defense turned into bad offense and vice versa, and so they lost this game, even though they played a very spirited last 10 minutes to try and cut back into this one.
Yeah, talk about that rally at the end. It was nice to see the Panthers come back and fight toward the end. What did you make of that rally? And did you think maybe it was going to turn around for Pitt toward the last few minutes?
Yeah, I mean, they were one big shot away from being within 5 points at one point. It could have been 76-71 had Blake Hinson hit the three he took late. It was that close. Pitt had a shot, but they couldn't they couldn't hit the big one. And they hit a few, but they just couldn't hit the big shot from deep. And that's really what caused Pitt to kind of lose this game. They didn't have the shooting down the stretch. They couldn't make the big shots, but that's been indicative of this team all year. They fight, and they never are truly out of it. They've come back from 16-point deficits, 13-point deficits. They've come back from 5, 10-plus point deficits to win games this year. It wasn't surprising to see them put up a fight and nearly come back and at least make this competitive. But again, just unlike those games, they didn't have the big shot making in this one to win it.
Let's talk about this year overall. You've mentioned time and time again how great and how special of a year this was for the Panthers. So put some perspective on this year for Pitt, for us, and for those of us who don't maybe know what this means to Pittsburgh and to the college basketball landscape as a whole.
We're talking about a team that was perennially one of the best programs in all of college basketball in the 2000s and early 2010s. They go into a dark period where they went 0-18 in the ACC one year. They have been sub 500 since 2018 to now. And then they have this year. It didn't matter where they went after this. They won 2 NCAA tournament games. They finished 5th in the ACC and almost won the regular season ACC title outright. Everything was – they overachieved this season. They were predicted to finish 14th in the ACC preseason pool. They were supposed to be the second worst team in the conference. They ended up making it here farther than all but 3 teams in the conference, that being Miami, of course, who could potentially go further than anybody, but they made it further than Virginia. They made it further than North Carolina. They made it as far as Duke. I mean, they have gotten wins over big teams. Basketball has not been back in Pittsburgh in a very long time. It's now back. There's respectability back to the program. They have something to build off of. Jeff Capel is a great class coming in. Everything's kind of coalescing here. This can be a big building year for Pitt to go from a bad ACC team to just getting back here routinely. And it won't feel so special anymore if they're back here routinely. But this year it feels special because of where they were. They went from the bottom to where essentially they've been wanting to be since 2016.
And what do they need to do in the offseason? What should we look forward to next year? What does this mean for the program moving forward?
A lot of talented freshmen coming in next year between Carlton Carrington, Jalon Lowe, Marlon Barnes, Dior Johnson. Very talented backcourt. They're losing a lot of their veteran presence, but they still have some key guys like Hinson, the Diaz-Graham twins, Federico coming back. What they need to do is regroup, hit the portal very hard, add some veteran presence to this team. But they're going to be even more talented this year than they are next year. Flip that around. They'll be more talented next year than they are this year. And they got to gel correctly. Jeff Capel's going to have to coach his team up and get them firing at all cylinders. but he's going to have his most talented team of his tenure here at Pitt. If everything works together, the Panthers could be back in the NCAA tournament. We could be talking about them as a top 6 seed next year if everything hits. The team's going to be projected to be one of the better ones in the ACC. They're going to come in with expectations. It could be a really good year for Pitt if they use this year as building blocks, as they should.
Well, Nick, thank you for the insight. Thank you for taking us to the action right there. We appreciate it. For more on the Panthers, make sure you are subscribed to Locked On Pitt for a full view of the bracket and all of the action as the madness continues. Subscribe to Locked On College Basketball. That is part of the Locked On Podcast Network. That's your team every day. Thanks, everyone, for watching and listening. And thank you, Nick, for all of your insight.